we want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to come and visit with us. I have some questions to ask them about their industries, where their businesses have come from in the last 5 to 10 years, what skills they need, where they see their businesses going. So the first question is just to all of you. It doesn't matter what order you answer in. What are the top character traits or qualities students need to be successful in your industry? Eddie, you want to start?
Yeah, probably something that you wouldn't be thinking of, but one would be on time, be at work every day, have a good attitude, want to work, do what's required to be successful, be drug-free, that's a big one, and want to learn and progress in a natural progression.
Angie, you want to share from your perspective?
I have communication and balancing technology. What we're noticing on some of these young people that's coming into our industry is communication skills. I think that that's something that you need to make sure that going into your future that you're very confident in presenting yourself, but also confident in taking criticism. And so communication, to all of these questions today, is, in my thought process, is communication and balancing technology, because so many students and the young people are communicating through technology instead of communicating one-on-one.
Yeah, that was very good. Communication, for sure. I would echo your sentiments 100%. I would say basically 3 traits are pretty important to me and to us is accountability, ownership, and initiative. I think there's, we work in sometimes a very complex environment. The answers don't always come directly, and people aren't always given a clear direction or a clear path forward. So we need people who can take what is within his or her control and then work to their best effort to produce an outcome that's beneficial to themselves and to the company.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. So I represent the healthcare portion, and in healthcare, you really have to be able to put yourself second, because nurses, our physicians, our folks that come into the hospital, they sort of have to check their ego at the door because it's all about the patient at that time. Tenacity is huge. They work long hours. They really have to come strapped with compassion for the day, I think. We live a lot in the Me Too, or it's all about me world. Instant gratification, and we want Facebook, we want lots of likes, and we really look for those kids that have that innate compassion and love of other people first.
That's great. Great answers. So that's kind of from the character trait, the internals perspective. What skills do new prospective hires need the most in your various industries? And you can talk to this either from a welder at Kuhn Krause, or maybe even an engineer, whichever perspective you want to choose.
Well, from an engineer standpoint, it really helps if you can get an engineer that's had some experience in manufacturing along with their education. I think it gives them a better rounded individual to understand what the people on the floor is dealing with. And I'll give you an example. If you're a design engineer and you're designing a product, you need to be able to manufacture that product. So you really got to consider the manufacturability of that product when you build it or design it. Is the person out on the floor is going to be building that product. And if you build a design just because you like the way that design goes, and you can't manufacture it, or it causes all kind of problems in the shop, it's not worth the paper it's written on. So you really need to understand who your customers are and who's working in the industry from an engineering standpoint. So it's really helpful if you've got some manufacturing background as you design things. For a welder, it's no more just walk in, put a hood on, and start welding. We're sitting with about 8 robotic welders now in the weld shop. Just bought a Cobot, which is a collaborative robot. where the operator will actually work beside the robot. We got it in last week. And so it's growing for its automation. We're also looking at augmented reality. Because you're going to put the goggles on. You're going to be using those for your work instructions or instructions as you go. So the technology is growing just for everybody. And so the deal is, are you trainable? I mean, I've got a 55-year-old man that's running a robot. He didn't know nothing about robots when he came in, but he stepped up and said, hey, I want to learn how to run it. So you got to be able to be trainable and want to take that step and get out there and do that. And then a machinist as well. We've got smart machines now where we've got machines linked to the internet and it talks back and forth so you can monitor what's going on with the machine. I can sit in my office and watch all the machines that's running in the shop and tell you what's going on with it. When it's working, when it's not working, when it's got a quality problem, when it's down, and it gives me that information, which 3 or 4 years ago you didn't have that technology.
Going down the line.
Go ahead.
So the question again was just what skills?
What specific skills rather than character traits in general?
In the marketing world, again, I'm going to say communication is one of the skills that you have to have, you have to be good at, because I asked this question to the designers and team before I came here today, and we talked about if our designer takes 5 choices of a logo to a new client, and the client turns down every single logo that the designer did, and you have to have that people skills and that communication skills to be able to take that criticism and turn it into something very positive. Of course, you need to have the design skill. That's correct in a designer world. In the other aspect of our company, we have photography, we have videography. We also do social media management as well as videos, which we just, we do all the aspects of a marketing agency, but you have to have those communication skills. I think that is the #1 skill in the marketing world to have.
Yeah, communication, both verbal and written, are critical, I think, no matter what you do. From our standpoint at Siemens Gamesa, teamwork. I think your video showed a lot about teamwork, and I think a lot of people think of teamwork as just kind of being the nice person in the group, not rubbing people the wrong way, but I think teamwork in the workplace goes so much further than that, because when you're part of a team, you're counted on for contribution to the deliverable of that team. So you're accountable to your teammates, and at the same time, you're holding your teammates accountable. So it really comes down to a lot more than just kind of being a nice person to work with. Problem solving, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of variety in the issues and the challenges we face on a daily basis. There is no one answer that can be given to anybody that will fix any problem. So people have to be more independent in being able to solve problems that they come across on a daily basis. And I think also planning and time management, depending on what part of the organization you work in. I think oftentimes we see people who just don't know how to prioritize, how to manage their time, and ultimately their productivity isn't what we would expect it to be.
You know, the beautiful thing about our kids coming out today is that they're so steeped in technology. It just comes naturally to them. And that plays right into the hands of the way healthcare is going. We have 3 robots in the hospital now. We have a pediatric robot, we have a stroke robot, and another one escapes me. But anyway, we communicate with doctors that are across the country, and they speak to the physician at hand. We have a Mako Striker robot that helps our orthopedic surgeons do intricate, very specific knee operations better than they've ever done them before, with better outcomes and lower infection rates. And so coming into the healthcare arena, thinking that, yes, you are going to be very compassionate and low on people, but to not also have that technology piece, I think you're kidding yourself. All of our charting is now electronic medical records. Every facet of healthcare is touched by technology in some way. So even though your parents yell at you to put those BlackBerry or your iPhones down, continue to
BlackBerry.
use them. Yeah, I just
There's
did it
one
myself.
BlackBerry.
Anyway, continue to develop those technological skills, but don't ever lose the culture of curiosity. We're really trying to institute that at Hutchinson Regional. We can train, literally we can train a robot to do whatever, but the robot's never going to ask, why is my patient acting this way? Or why am I delivering this pill? Maybe I better go check again to make sure this is the right way. Having 3 teenagers, they just sort of got beat down in school, for asking questions. And now as employers, we're saying, no, we want you to ask questions. So I would say, bring that technological piece and bring that culture of curiosity.
That's good. I'm actually going to go back to you because you kind of started answering the next one. I think we'll have time for all of you to answer all of these. I think I mentioned I just have a couple of you. So this question is, how has your industry changed in the last 5, 10, or 15 years? I think, Chuck, you talked a little bit about that with your robots. And then how do you see your industry changing in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
So how has it changed and how will it change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, how has it changed? We've seen tremendous consolidation. We've all felt it with smaller hospitals out in rural settings. Those have shrunk. We've become more regional and centralized. And I don't know that that's going to change. I think it's going to reach a leveling off point because we're seeing good data now that the big cities have higher infection rates, oftentimes. More concentration of people, just like when you're sick, there's 100 people in the room, you're likely to get sick. So I think that consolidation will stop at some point. I think that the technology has been tremendous for healthcare. It's improved so many different facets, and I don't think that's going to change. So I think that has been the transition over the last 5 to 10 years. How is it going to continue to change? I think that you're going to see more and more and more innovation, especially robotic innovation, in all procedure types. I truly can see a day when you're laying on the table and there's a set of robotic hands over the top of you and the doctor's in Dallas doing the procedure, moving those robots. We have a robot called the Da Vinci, and it is a set of different arms and hands that can be manipulated, and the doctor's across the room looking like this, and he is manipulating a set of toggles, I guess if you will, and these instruments are moving over here, he's suturing, and they're so precise that his incisions are better than he can do it with his hands. So I think we're going to see more and more of that. So yeah, off the cuff answer, that's right. Yeah.
So maybe our kids playing video games aren't too bad.
Yeah.
You know what? Continue to let your kids play. To a point. Monitor.
That answer will go over well in my house. Thank you very much. Yeah, so, we started our factory, and of course we build wind turbine components at our factory, and started up about 9 years ago, and the first type of nacelle we built, I think we built about 3,800 of those things, and they ran for 8 years, very few changes and all of that. But there's probably been more changes just in the last 18 months, just in the product portfolio, the technology, platforms that we're building than there were in the previous 10 years. So I would expect that to be the same. More advancements, more rapid advancements in technology, more frequent product and platform changes for our people in the factory. And basically, I think a lot more, or what we know of, is a lot more price pressure from our customers and a lot more competition in the market. So, of course, it's the same old story. Better, faster, cheaper. And so we're no different than anybody else in that regard. So here again, it kind of goes to us being flexible, having people who can be very dynamic and evolve very quickly in their knowledge. I would say beyond that, of course, there's been just tremendous growth in wind energy in the U.S. in the last 10 years or so, which has been great, of course. I think there's naturally going to be some saturation there. You probably see more of our business go into service related, supporting service of wind turbines as well as aftermarket production. And I think the other thing that's definitely happening in our industry is everything's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we'll probably start to see, instead of us shipping large entire turbine components and nacelles, for example, we may ship smaller components that are then assembled at the wind farm. So again, it's kind of what I see happening in the years coming up for us.
In the world of marketing, everybody knows that we've seen several changes over the past 5-10 years, especially with print marketing. For example, the newspapers, print and magazines. I mean, everything is so internet-based now. Catalogs, or you can shop online, you can look at social media, you can get all the news online. So marketing has had to change drastically, and you use the better, faster, cheaper, or is that correct? That's true for any industry. Everybody wants it fast, better, and cheap. So one of the things that my group talked about tonight, before I came here today, they said that logos are going to be, you can already get a logo online. You can have it designed for you, very inexpensive, and so that's going to be like you can go up to and get it out of a vending machine, basically. You can get a logo out of a vending machine, but you're also going to want the marketing agencies that can give you something better. And they still want an instant gratification. They don't want to wait months for it. They want it in 2 to 3 weeks now. So things have changed from that instant gratification. Everybody wants something a lot faster. So marketing has had to adapt to that as well. Websites used to cost $10,000 to $15,000 just to get one. Now you can get a website for less than $1,000. So things have adapted in the marketing world to get that better, faster, cheaper concept. And that's something that we're going to have to continue to do now that the internet is so immediate, that you're going to be able to get all these items that you want. You can create a video, you can create a logo, you can create a flyer, you can do it all online yourself, but you also have to remember that you have to have quality, commitment, and service, and that's where our marketing company comes into play, that we want to make sure that we are giving that quality, we're providing a very good service, and we are committed to giving you what you want. That's going to be the difference, and that's something we're going to have to continue to make sure through education that we continue to learn about the new social media, the new marketing finds, the new ways to do a video, the ways to do photography. It's just going to have to continue to keep up with the ever so fast world of the internet, for sure.
Our business is a lot different. We're a tillage company, so we make tillage equipment to prep the fields before it gets planted and after it gets planted. We make everything from 11-foot wide to a 50-foot wide piece of equipment. We don't 100% assemble anything because it's too big. It goes on trucks as pieces, and then it gets put together at dealerships. We're a 102-year-old company. We've been in Hutch since 1926, so we've been around a while. Back in the Krause days, the plant was dirty. It had a foundry. It was nasty. You go to work, you get dirty, and it's hot, sweaty, and all those things. But now, it's been cleaned up. We've been purchased by an international company that's a $1 billion company now. So we got money that's backing us. We're buying new equipment. We've gone in and cleaned the plant up, 5S the plant, which means you go in, you sort and clean, get rid of stuff you don't need. We painted floors, we painted equipment, and most all the new, the machine centers are new in the plant, and now we're putting in the new robots. So that's what's happened in the last 5 years, really. So where I think it's going to go is technology and automation is going to be a way of life, no matter what you're doing. But we're going to still need employees. We're going to need just as many employees today as we've got. So technology is not going to replace the employees. Your skill sets are going to change. Instead of sitting there running a machine, you got a joystick now with a tablet, and you're programming this thing.
Some more video games.
More video.
More video games. And just last week, we had a robot out, that material handling robot, that actually you program with your iPhone or tablet. It don't need no internet. It needs Wi-Fi. That's all it needs. And so those are the things that y'all are going to be dealing with. And it's only going to get easier. I don't think that technology is going to be, you got to go write all this code and you got to know all this codes and this books and books and books of stuff. You're not going to have to do that. It's going to be where you take your iPhone and you do what you do now. It's going to be easier. And so that's the nice thing about it. And manufacturing is not a bad word. We pay welders $21, $22 an hour. We pay machinists $20 an hour. Assembly workers $18 an hour. That's not bad. And if you're in high school and you can go and start going to a tech school and get you a year of tech school while you're in high school, you come out, you're still 1 year away from an associate's degree, go to work for a company that's got education reimbursement, let them pay for your next year of college. Now you got your associate's degree and you got a job and you got benefits. Then if you want to go on and get your bachelor's degree, they got education reimbursement, go at night, go online and get your degree, and you're not $70,000 in debt. And it's a way to do things. And tech schools are not bad. I went to a tech school many, many years ago. But there's some really good tech schools out there that you don't have to have a college degree to make a good salary. And there's a lot of college kids out there that's got good degrees that can't find jobs.
Another great segue into another question. So, what should students start doing now to prepare themselves for work? You spoke to that a little bit. Anything else you'd like to add there?
You don't know what you want to do. If you do, then you're abnormal. Because most kids don't know what I want to do because you've never been exposed to it. What I'd like to see is what we've done before is we've had staff from here out to the plant. I'd like to get the students out. Show you some of the careers we've got. We've got design engineering, we've got manufacturing engineering, we've got accounting, we've got marketing, we've got sales, we've got assembly jobs, we've got welding jobs, machine shop jobs, we've got planning jobs. There's a lot of jobs in manufacturing that you haven't even been exposed to or even know what I'm talking about until you go see it and spend some time with it. And you may change, you may say, well, I'd like to try this. And you may go up and change even after you do it for a while. That's okay. I didn't start out as a director of operations. I started out as an inspector on the floor many, many years ago. And I've done a lot of different things in my career. So that's what I think.
Others, what do students need to do right now to prepare themselves for work in your fields?
Well, I have written down real life experience. I mean, that can help you get out and get a job, learn how to be in the workforce, get some experience on how the workforce works. It just helps you prepare you for life, period. I didn't go to college. I don't have a college education. I did it the hard way. I started working at a very young age and just worked my way up, and I worked 60 to 80 hours a week and proved myself that I could do what I needed to do. And I think that that's what a lot of kids don't understand, that you just got to get in there and you've got to put on all the hats and you've got to work hard, and no matter if you have a college education or if you don't, you've got to be willing to adapt to what you need to do in your workforce.
Yeah, I would say whatever your area of interest is gain some practical experience in that, whether that's through developing, participating in hobbies or volunteering time and things like that. I would say also build a history of dependability, meaning whatever you're doing, whether you're in a job or whether you're in an extracurricular activity, finish strong and be dependable. Be considered a good employee or good teammate or whatever the case might be. And then look for opportunities to take leadership roles in whatever organization that is. Show you have the ability to work within the team setting, to lead a team, to be a contributor to a team. And then I would say also, learn how to be kind of reflective of yourself and your own performance. Too often I think people always assume that bad stuff happens to them. They had no part in that. They kind of refuse to take ownership and accountability for things that might have some adversity that they might have encountered. And I think it's really important for people to be able to kind of, at any age for that matter, to kind of be able to step back and say, okay, here's my situation, here's my strong points, here's my weak points. How can I now improve? How can I now take the initiative to improve my situation?
Ditto.
There is always room for improvement, no matter what you're doing. You are never, if you think you're good at your job, then you need to step back and take a look, because there's always room for improvement, no matter where you're at and what position you're in.
Yeah, I would say in all this talk about robots and technology and everything, I don't want you guys to come away with the idea that to my friend's point down there, that you're ever going to be replaced, especially in healthcare. It is a people industry, and sales is a people industry. Any interaction that goes on, there will always have a need for people. You know, when you walk up and shake somebody's hand, there's actually a chemical exchange that happens. There's a release of dopamine. You get a level of trust built, and that's why the whole thing around handshaking even comes around. A hug's even more. That is never going to go away. No machine will ever replace that ability to build trust or bond with somebody. So I would say, if I were entering the workforce in your day and age, those hard mechanical skills are going to come innately. You guys are immersed in it. Work on your soft skills. How to interact with somebody. How to look them in the eye when you're talking to them. How to start a conversation. How to carry on a conversation. All of those things, unfortunately, I see in my own kids are being set aside for all these mechanical skills that they're immersed in.
Something I'd like to add is, you're in an interview. You're going to go and get interviewed. Two questions comes up. The first one is, tell me what your strengths are. What are you good at? Boy, you can pop that off just really, really quick. You're not expecting the second one. What are you weak at? What do you need to work on? You really got to think about that, because we're so positive about ourselves